How's it going, everybody? Welcome into a new series I am going to be starting up, which is just game reviews. Today we are going to be looking at Foundation, created by Polymorph Games. This is a medieval city builder. This is a game where choices matter, your economy can boom or bust, and it takes a good strategy to succeed. This game has been honored with several awards. I will post those over here, and you can check those out as you wish. The game has a 75% positive game review on Steam. So if that doesn't intrigue you, it has a $30 game price, and that is fantastic. It is an alpha game, but that is okay. It is a little pricey for it, but eventually it will turn into a beautiful game. So let's jump into the positives and negatives of the game, and the things I hope to see in the future. First off, we have all the positives. Let's do the first one, which is the beautiful artwork. That's hands down, without a doubt. The art in this is beautiful. I mean, look at all of this stuff. They did a great job. There is some details that could be fixed in the future, but it's an alpha game. They will be fixed, I promise. I mean, like, the fact that they all kind of look weird with their eyes completely wide open. But other than that, that's the only art flaw I can see. Next up, we have the production lines. This is probably my favorite part of the game, in any game really, is when you go from a raw resource into a middle resource into the final. So right here we have our wheat farms. You know, we got people collecting that goes to the windmills, that goes to the baker to finish it off, and then it even goes farther into the markets. And you can even go from, you can either go to the market or you can go to the warehouse, which you can trade things. I mean, that's amazing. I love that. I love that in any game. Tied to that, we have promising trading. As you may have seen right here, we have different trade routes that you can choose and buy, and you can buy, sell stuff, and that all goes into your budget, which is another amazing detail of this, that you can, you know, check about what is costing you what, and what's bringing you in what, and what you should be increasing, what you should decrease, stuff like that. I think that's amazing. On top of that, we have a beautiful development system. So this is all zoning, and this game is kind of heavy on the zoning, mainly on the residential and the extraction. So you have residential. This brings me into a couple points that I really like, is that you have natural paths and natural houses, meaning the people decide where the paths go. It is whatever is most efficient for them and what they need. You can control it through forbidden land zoning, or with shrubs, trees, stuff like that, or walls for that matter. I think they can go through trees, but walls for sure. And they place their houses wherever they want that you have zoned. If you zone out all this residential area, they will fill it out, and they will do it based on how close they are to certain things. So over here is a great area because I have such a big church that has a lot of splendor, and a big market that has everything in it. Now, I also have a small market here, which is generating some want for this area, and you can control your population in that way. The final positive I want to get into is the modular design. I mean, you can create some pretty cool buildings. I'm really happy about how this one turned out. I think it looks very nice. This is just a stone church. Over here, I have a Lord's Manor, a stone Lord's Manor, and something I threw together and quite like. So if we take a look, you can definitely see, let's do a Lord's Manor. You have your cores, like a main stone building. You can throw a chimney, or here's an extension just because I accidentally clicked on it. A chimney, a treasury, tax office, bailiff's office, we'll put that there. You can raise any of these up or down, so you can raise them to however you want, whatever suits your will and need. And I think that's amazing. That's great because that means that not everyone's world is going to look the same. You know, you can showcase things, you can show them off to the community, and it builds it. And I love that. I think it looks really nice. I'm excited to see them add more stuff to it. But we'll get into the things I want to see later. But first before that, we have our negatives. Now, take these with a grain of salt because they're not really that negative. I tried really hard to balance out the positives and negatives. I think it's important to, you know, show you guys, you know, what you're getting into truly, you know, because not every game is perfect. But this one, you know, it does have its flaws, but they can be chalked up to alpha game, you know. like the first one I have here is lack of real challenge. I find this game quite easy. I have not really lost the game. I don't think you can lose the game. I think the only way that you could do that is if you don't balance your budget. And to be honest, it's not very hard to, get a balanced budget to where you're making money. So I hope to see them change that in the future. I'm sure they will when they add more buildings, more professions, more whatever, all that kind of stuff. The second thing I have is that there's no random generation. There's 5 maps, and you can, pick whichever one you want. But if you go and create the same map later, like the same style, because they each have a style, like this one's a river map, there's a mountain map, there's a valley map, stuff like that. But they're exactly the same every single time, and you get a geographical challenge that is not met. In a lot of games, you want that random generation so that it's different every time, at least a little bit. You might have the same terrain features, but it might be a little different. So I'm sure we will see that in the future. The last thing I have for negatives is the lack of replayability. And I think that a lot of that does come from the random generation and the lack of challenges. I think those two together really make it not really great to play again. I'm going to keep sprawling out this city, but once I, get bored of placing the same buildings over and over, and there's no new challenges to unlock, nothing to overachieve, stuff like that, it will, bore out for me. So just keep that in mind when you are buying this alpha game. Like I said, these things will be fixed. It is very early stages of this game. It's only been out for a few weeks, and we will be seeing many, many improvements. Moving on to the things I hope I see. One is a way to make wine. If you've already played this game, you know my frustration. There is no way to make wine, and if you try to sell it, they will want it. That's how this game works. If you start selling something, they will develop a need for it. You'll see up here that I have 18 villagers lacking wine, 2 villagers lacking housing or water. So, and I'm always struggling with that wine because I'm buying as much as I can, I think. I believe I am buying as much as I can, and it's expensive. So I had to slack on some certain things and really generate that revenue so that I can be buying this. I guess that's a challenge, if anything. But I would like to see it or balanced a little better, because I had to get rid of a lot to be able to even buy a minuscule amount of wine just to keep them happy. But I feel like I'm doing a decent job. They're at 95 happiness, almost 200 people. Hey, I'm not going to complain. Next thing up is more building options. I would like to see more production lines and more design aspects for the modular designs. I think it'd be really nice to see that, and just to have more options to create different buildings that we want to see. Just make each village its own. And the main one here is in politics, the kingdom politics. Right now, all we can do is build these keeps right here. And yeah, you get the top, you have a couple little dummies, a couple other things too, but nothing to really generate splendor, and it's quite hard to generate splendor when you're putting up these, to be honest, they're pretty ugly buildings. If I build one of these real quick, just to showcase to you, you will see that this core building, which is really the only thing that gives you splendor, you have a decorative flag, you can only put one, a wooden gate, 0.10, 0.10 for the doors, 0.5 for the tops, core is 3. So that's what gives you the most. But if I just extend this up, no new windows, no random gen on, the design, it kind of looks hideous. Even in its regular state, it kind of looks hideous to my opinion. And when you need 50 splendor at 3 a piece of these, you need a lot of them. You really need a lot, and it bothers me that I have to place these all over my city, and they don't look nice. So I got a couple small ones, like more decorations. I'm sure those will come, but I'd really like to see those. Like the fence sign or the direction sign is pretty nice. I like that a lot. I did some nice stuff over here with the arches and some of the planted trees. I like that. I just hope to see more in the future. I'm really happy with what they have, but I'm sure that will come. We need deeper professions, meaning, it needs to go farther in a line to get to a final product. I personally like that kind of stuff, where, a wood can be changed into 100 different things depending on the profession it goes through. And the last thing is a use for soldiers. Another useless part of the the wooden keep is that you can have up to 10 soldiers. You truly only need 5 in the game because you have an envoy that comes and requests you to send soldiers to the war. And you send your 5, they come back, and you get an awesome reward. But I would like to see more use for them, given that I have to have like 8 of these keeps, you know, to get my blacksmith. So have a use for them. Maybe some invasions, send them off to better battles where they die potentially. You know, make it a little bit challenging. I would love to see that. But overall, I have about 20 hours in this game, and I can truly say that I definitely enjoy it. I will be creating a Let's Play series in the near future, and I hope that you guys are ready for that, because I sure am. I'm really excited to be playing that with you guys. I did live stream it last week, and I did have positive feedback on that. So I'm excited to be playing it here on the channel. And if you guys want to see stuff like that, let me know in the comments. If you want to see more game reviews like this, please leave me a like. If you don't want to see them, leave a dislike. And if you enjoy the content on my channel, please be sure to subscribe. We're at 90, we're growing so fast, and I'm loving it so much. And I'm very excited every day to wake up to new comments, new subscribers. It really fills me with a lot of joy to be getting on here and creating this content for you. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.